Hello, and welcome to Wretched. Hello, my two spectacular co-hosts, Luke and Levi.
Hello.
Hey, Mishi.
How are you guys?
Good, we're good.
Yeah?
All good.
How's your week been?
It was fast. It was too busy, and it was like Thursday night, and oh my God, I wasn't ready for the podcast. So now I'm here and feeling underprepared, but
That's how I like you.
I mean, it's over. That's how I like it. The week is over.
Oh, yeah. Before we get into anything today, I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time to listen to our first episode. We really, really appreciate it. And I also need to shout out to our first patron on Patreon, Romy Latter. Thank you for helping us make this show. We know times are tough and money is hard to come by, which is why we can't express how much it means to us that you're supporting Wretched. If any of our other listeners want to join Romy as a patron of the show, please find us on Patreon at patreon.com/wretchedpodcast. And for as little as $5 a month, you can gain access to behind-the-scenes content, ad-free episodes, and lots of other little Wretched tidbits.
I will also name my first child after the next person.
Oh,
So
Levi,
there's an incentive.
That's a serious commitment right there. Okay.
After their legal name or after the name that they put on Patreon? Because
The
I think you
name
might
they
be
put on Patreon will be the name of my first child.
Oh, who's going to be the first person to put down something? Oh,
I might go subscribe.
come on, listeners, come on. Lastly, just quick sticks, guys. A disclaimer to all our listeners out there. Please know that the views and opinions expressed in these podcasts are for entertainment purposes only, and we mean no disrespect. It's all in good fun. The world is dark. All you want to do is shine a light by making a little light.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
yeah.
Exactly. Okay. I've got a treat for you today.
Tell us.
Today we're going to be looking at the B1 Butcher, or Africa's Jack the Ripper. This is possibly the most sought-after killer in Namibia's history. He's still at large. Either of you guys heard of him before?
Never.
Never, ever, ever,
Never.
ever.
Never heard of the Africa's Jack the Ripper.
Well, his media name was B1 Butcher.
To be fair, I don't know a whole lot of famous Namibians. There's not a...
How dare you, Luke?
It's a pretty quiet place, from what
Yeah.
I've heard. There's not a whole lot going on, so
Oh, there's not a whole lot of town.
there's not a whole lot of anything.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lot of
sand.
desert.
Yeah.
A lot of road.
Oh. No disrespect to
places.
Namibia either.
No,
Yeah.
of course. And a lot of places for body parts to be thrown around.
Hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is that foreshadowing?
Perhaps. So, Levi,
Yeah, boy.
you've been waiting for this one.
I have. I'm salivating at the thought of the story.
Tell me why you've been waiting for this one.
I mean, I just like serial killers. I like the minds of serial killers. I don't endorse what they do, please, as a disclaimer. But I do find it interesting that people would be consistent in this kind of act over and over and over. And they have methods and they have reasons and So yeah, I do like the mind of a serial killer.
What are your top 5 serial killers?
Vertakelijk.
Top 5
No,
fave.
go
Watch
away.
Mojo's. Watch Levi's top 10.
Hey, maybe we'll do an episode on Levi's top 10 serial killers sometimes.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll have an outlet for his obsession. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a real obsession.
Ooh.
I mean, I would collect them, but I wouldn't kill anyone.
Yo, isn't that worse?
I collect the serial killers, not the victims. You
All in
know?
a room.
So, are we ready to start?
We are.
Yes.
We've been ready. My whole life, basically.
Okay, let's get into it. On the chilly morning of August the 20th, 2005, the body of a woman named Melanie Janse was found near the B1 bypass near Windhoek's Van Eck power station in Windhoek, Namibia. She was found naked, mutilated, and had been strangled to death. Less than a month later, on the 25th of September, the naked body of Yonita Mabula, a 21-year-old woman, was also found next to the B1 bypass, close to a turnoff to the Windhoek Turf Club around 8 a.m. Her head had been cut off at the base of her neck, and no other wounds were found on the rest of her body. However, her decapitated head was nowhere to be found.
Oh my God.
Souvenir.
We'll see. Without her head, it was impossible for the authorities to decipher the cause of death, or if she had been alive when the decapitation took place. Juanita was last seen between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. near an engine fuel station on the corner of Independence Avenue and Ulen Street in Windhoek. She was found at 8 a.m. and she was last seen between 3 and 4 a.m.
That is a very short window.
Extremely. 4
Is
hours.
it?
4 hours? That's nothing.
Dude, 4 hours to kidnap, kill, and decapitate someone, and then throw their body out at the road.
I feel like that's a 45-minute job. Come on. I mean, I feel like that's a
Levi the
45-minute job.
efficient.
I feel like you need 8 minutes to kidnap someone, 10 minutes to strip them, and another 70. I told you I'm good at this.
He thought this through, guys.
I think that it's short for maybe someone who's not a serial killer. That's a short period of it's okay. So it's not so much a short window of time to get all the stuff done, as Levi points out. It's more that it's a short window of time in terms of like the investigation. Usually, like when I hear about missing persons investigations and stuff like that, it's like they're missing for 2 days and then they find the body, if not longer. So it's not so much that it was a short time for the events to happen. It was more that it's short for investigation. You know, there's really not much that could have happened in 4 hours.
Well, I mean, they didn't know that she was missing until they found her body.
Well, that kind of tells you. Because like if someone were missing for 4 hours, you probably wouldn't be too worried yet.
I mean,
you know?
I didn't know what you were doing 4 hours before you came here.
And I know I had you worried sick.
I was worried sick.
She was at a petrol station alone at 4 in the morning, between 3 and 4?
Well, I mean, we don't know.
Okay.
This is just like...
But this is also in Windhoek. This is like in the city.
It's in Windhoek.
Yeah.
City centre-ish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can look on Patreon. I've got the maps
Okay,
where you
okay,
can
cool.
actually see where these people were last seen. They don't know where all of the victims were last seen, but
Sure,
in her
yeah.
case, yeah. A week after the discovery of Juanita's body, the police had made no arrests and had no suspects. Warrant Officer Christopher Munyinka stated, quote, "Frankly speaking, it is a very, very, very complicated investigation," end quote.
3 varies. My goodness.
I know. I mean, you only have 3 varies. When
What year was this again? Sorry.
This is 2005.
Oh God, it says recent too.
Oh, I mean, 15 years.
That's recent.
It's recent. It's pretty recent.
Look. No.
Look, the one thing to keep in mind when you're listening to the story is that at this stage, the Namibian police had never, ever, ever dealt with a serial killer before.
Sure.
So they actually didn't know what to do.
There was no like protocol or precedent,
Yeah.
really.
There was actually a point where they got the South African police to come and help them because at that same sort of time, they had just arrested Moses Sitole, the ABC killer.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is, I mean, that's why the South African police went up.
Sure.
The police announced a 20,000 Namibian dollar reward for anyone providing information leading to the arrest and prosecution of Juanita's killer and the person or people who had killed Melanie Janse a month before. At this stage, however, the 2 cases had not been linked. When it was suggested that a serial killer may be responsible for the murders, the authorities responded with, quote, "We cannot really say that because we don't have any suspects yet," end quote. Almost exactly a month later, on the 24th of October, Juanita's head was found lying next to the B1 bypass. After the discovery of Juanita's head, it was deduced that she had died from blunt force trauma to the head. Now, there was an additional victim, Viola Swartboy, an 18-year-old, who was reported missing shortly before Christmas of 2005. Her body was found in a shallow grave on the 28th of December that year. Many believe her murder to be the work of the butcher. However, this was never officially confirmed. Jumping ahead to a year and a half later, a 36-year-old woman by the name of Sana Helena Garus would go missing. She would be last seen on the 13th of June 2007 outside the Zum Wort restaurant on Independence Avenue in the city center. 3.5 days later, early on the afternoon of the 17th of June, a female torso, dissected in two, would be found in a rubbish bin at a lay-by next to the B1 road, some 42 kilometers north of Windhoek.
Crikey,
I'm
Moses.
starting to
This
understand
is-
where the butcher part comes
Yeah,
from.
shit, eh? This is quite a thing.
It is quite a thing.
And the head? Was that also...
So the head was found lying next to the road.
Oh, my God.
So the head was from Juanita,
Yeah.
who was murdered in 2005, along with Melanie.
Okay.
Then in 2007,
There was a torso in two.
there was a 36-year-old woman, her name's Sana,
Okay.
and they found her torso. She went missing, and then
Yeah.
3 days later, they found her torso, which was cut in two in the bin. It was wrapped in
goodness.
rubbish bags. Yes.
Wrapped in?
Rubbish bags. I think that she was wrapped in rubbish bags.
Was it preserved in any way? Was it like, does it look like the body was preserved? Was it taken care of? Or was it just dumped in there?
Well, one thing that was noted about the torso and other body parts is that they were noted to have been frozen. So they were kept in a
So
refrigeration.
he had trophies. He had evidence. They were,
What?
he kept them because he needed to pat himself on the back. He needed to enjoy them a little bit, and he preserved them. And then he put them where he needed them to be seen. Well, I think where he leaves them is where it's places where he wants them to be found, though.
Well, I mean, not everyone's going to be looking in rubbish bins.
Sure.
Windhoek, they are. In Windhoek, they are. It's happening.
Okay, well, let's carry on, then we'll learn some more about it.
Yeah.
3 days after the discovery of the torso, 2 human thighs were found in a rubbish bin. Again at a lay-by next to the B1 road in the I told you this was going to happen. In the
You can do it.
Rehoboth district. That's totally wrong. I know that's wrong. Okay.
I see it? I know you're on your own.
See what I'm saying? No one knows how to say this word.
This is watching Michelle do a mondeling.
Oh my God.
Goeiemorgen, Klaas. My name is Michelle.
Op my vakantie.
Ik heet een dog.
Ik eet een lekker poel.
Again, at a lay-by next to the B1 road in the Rehoboth district, some 25 kilometers north of Rehoboth. It was upon this discovery that an old bullet wound in the victim's leg led to the body being identified as that of missing woman Sana Helena Garus.
Okay.
4 weeks later,
Oh.
a human head, 2 lower legs, and 2 feet, of which the 3 middle toes of each were cut off. The police reported with 4 weeks later. What? You rude, Luke.
That was Levi. That was Levi.
Guys, if you could see what Levi just did,
You can on our Patreon.
you can on the Patreon. Okay, that is reason enough just to subscribe for 1 month to go and see that.
Yeah, that was in poor taste.
That was in poor taste. We are in poor taste, let's be honest.
This is true. This is
Okay.
true.
We're also in Windhoek, so let's calm down.
Okay. 4 weeks later, a human head, 2 lower legs, and 2 feet, of which the 3 middle toes of each were cut off, the police reported, were found lying next to the B6 Trans-Kalahari Road, some 35 kilometers east of Windhoek, all belonging to Sana.
Oh my goodness. So I know you said this at the top, but the B1, is that outside the city, or
So
was this at various spots along the B1? Because
Okay, so
surely the killer would have at least operated nearby there.
Yeah, so look, the B1 is the road that runs from South Africa all the way through Namibia to the end, to the top of Namibia.
Yeah.
So it runs through every town. It's like the main road, basically.
Yeah,
It's the one road. So when the B1 goes through Windhoek, you can see, on maps you can see it's sort of like, it's not right through the middle of the city.
Sure, yeah.
And there are like some roads that come off. So he obviously was operating within this Rehoboth area.
Sure, yeah.
And you'll see later he starts dumping them on other parts. So they surmise that
Of
he
the-
actually
of the B1.
moved. Yeah.
Okay,
So actually his like life potentially moved somewhere else.
interesting.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
I mean, the point is that it's on the B1, which is a busy road.
What?
Because
Yeah.
he wants these body parts to be found.
I mean, he has to. Why would you put them on a busy road?
Why
otherwise?
would you freeze them? He's saving them. He wants them to be found. He wants to be popular. Serial killers are narcissists by definition.
Oh yeah.
On the
Usually,
highest
yeah.
level.
Usually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let's carry on and see what else happens. Later in July, more body parts were found wrapped in garbage bags and strewn across the B1. The victim was never identified. So this is now somebody else.
Oh my God.
So we're on 3 victims already here. Okay. Or maybe 4 if
I was going
Viola
to say, this is maybe 4.
If Viola Swartboy is a victim of the butcher. It was
Yeah.
never confirmed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm struggling to follow all the...
I know, it's crazy.
Pieces,
Researching
excuse
this
the-
was honestly one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Because
Really?
the timeline is just all over the place.
And what year are we in now? We're up to
2007.
2007. So this has already been over 2 years.
So he obviously took a break. So
Hmm.
his cool down period was the 2 years.
Yeah.
Now we're in 2007.
I always find that quite interesting with stories about serial killers, is that sometimes there are these sort of gaps in the timeline where there were, I mean, it's not necessarily that they weren't doing murders still, but, you know, in a profile like this, like that's quite a specific sort of style of killing, and it seems to be something that the butcher sticks to. So one would expect that if there were other murders in that 2-year time period, we would have found pieces of the bodies and known about it.
Exactly.
So what was that break?
Well, all serial killers go through active time and cool down periods. That's like something that is known and has been
That's
studied.
part of the pathology.
It's part of the pathology of a serial killer. And what often happens is as the serial killer progresses, their cool down period gets shorter. So
Interesting.
a new serial killer might take years and years and years
Yeah.
off of their cool down period. They'll kill one person and then take 5
Yeah.
years from killing someone. Then they kill 2 people and then they'll take 3 years. Obviously,
Yeah.
this I'm generalizing.
No, of course. Yeah.
There are obviously other serial killers that kill, and then take 50 years off.
Yes, sure.
But then you also get killers who will take 5 years off and then they'll kill, and then they'll take 2 years, then 1 year, then 3 months, and then it will get faster.
Yeah.
So they kill more and more and more. And then normally that's when they get caught or kill themselves, or
Yeah,
it
something
ends
goes a bit...
some way
Yeah.
as their cool down period gets shorter.
It's also emotionally draining.
Well, I suppose because we're talking about serial killers, it's a repeating act. So there has to be some kind of driving force that is not related to the victims necessarily.
Power is surely on top
Power
of
is
that
big.
list.
Power.
Power's on
is-
top of that list.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. There's some serial killers in the States who would kill, and then took like a 5-10 year hiatus. And they did that because they got a girlfriend. They got married. They had kids. Something
Yes,
that took
yeah.
that
Well,
urge.
this is why I said with the B1 Butcher, I wonder what that 2-year period was. What was it that changed in that person's life? That
We'll do a whole episode just on serial killers.
Sure, okay.
All right.
I'm here for it.
We can learn more about it.
I am here for it.
After the grisly discovery of Sana Helena Garros, the murders were being treated as connected, and the B1 Butcher was officially named a serial killer. Later in July, more body parts were found wrapped in garbage bags and strewn across the B1. The victim was never identified. In August of 2007, another set of remains was found, an arm, and a decapitated head, which was believed to belong to the same victim. This is believed to be the last victim of the B1 butcher. So 5 in total. Now, who is the B1 butcher? The person has never been caught. This has been a notoriously tough case for the Namibian police. Having never dealt with serial killers before, they eventually had the South African police assist in the investigation. Even though the cases are still unsolved, there were 3 theories as to who the murderer is.
To be fair, a packet of knickknacks out of a ShopRite would be a tough case for the Namibian police. So, I mean...
Rude. Oh my God.
Nee.
Okay. German citizen Heinz Knierim.
Sorry, German subscribers.
Sorry, German subscribers. German citizen Heinz Knierim was arrested because he was suspected of having raped a 29-year-old Namibian near Windhoek. He was also said to have tried to subsequently strangle the woman. Knierim denied all allegations. However, he was kept in jail for 2 years awaiting trial. In February of 2010, he was acquitted for lack of evidence and released from custody. Knierim sued for damages against the Namibian government due to his ordeal of having been accused to be the B1 butcher.
So, I mean, I know that the case, or that he was acquitted because of lack of evidence, there must have been something.
Well, I think it was the fact that he raped this woman and tried to strangle her. So they had arrested him for that.
Didn't they drop those as well? Or was was he guilty on that?
He says he wasn't. But
sure.
He also was kept in jail without bail for 2 years.
That is quite a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's if that was the time he served for the rape, then okay, that's one thing. But I understand why one would sue for damages after being accused of being like the infamous serial killer, the B1 butcher, because that is damaging, surely.
Look, I think that he shouldn't have been kept in jail for 2 years if that wasn't his sentence. I mean, I don't...
Yeah.
The research I did didn't clarify whether or not he was in jail for the rape.
Yeah.
But I think he was accused of being the B1 butcher because what he had done to that girl was some of the things that were done by the B1 butcher.
It was like in the MO.
It was in the MO of the B1 butcher. And... in my opinion, I don't think he did it. I don't think he's the B1 butcher. I have my own theory at the end, which I'm like, duh, but anyway.
You should send this to the Namibian police.
I know. They know about this. Anyway, let's just carry on. Let's carry on. The local, parentheses, prostitutes.
Okay.
It was common knowledge that 3 of the 5 victims of the butcher were prostitutes, and 2 were known to have known each other and worked the same streets. It was assumed that the person responsible could have been a local or familiar with the girls and their places of work. In 2008, a man named Hans Husselman from Rehoboth took his life after being implicated in the murders. He had served a life sentence for 2 murders before and was released in 2004. Just before the murders started.
I mean,
that seems pretty sus.
I mean, can we fly to Windhoek and go close this case?
Yeah.
Just wait. Although Sanna Helena's DNA was found in Husselman's flat, and Husselman's DNA was found on a letter to the police concerning Mabula's murder.
Yo!
Evidence was inconclusive.
What?
I mean, what made it inconclusive? What info do we not have here?
At the time, suspicions arose that the B1 butcher might not be a single person, but rather one lead actor and several copycats.
Sure, okay. Why? Why was that it's a possibility, sure, but why would that suddenly be something that people thought was going on?
Well, I think Namibia's murderers were like, this guy's got something going on.
Yeah, let's
copy
jump on
him.
I mean, that's a thing that happens, copycat killers and criminals in general. But it just seems it's just a theory, so I don't really understand why that would be enough to say, like, okay, but maybe this guy, where there's a lot of very suspicious circumstance around him.
Yes, but look, the thing is, though, Sana was a prostitute.
Yeah.
And she could have just visited him at some point.
Absolutely. Sure.
And his DNA being on the letter, DNA testing wasn't as good as it is now,
Sure.
first of all.
But it is conclusive that his DNA was on the letter.
Back then, just because your DNA was on something doesn't mean that it was your DNA. It means somebody with a similar profile to you. It was very likely that it was you.
Oh, so it wasn't actually conclusive evidence.
That's what they mean.
That's what they're saying.
They're saying
okay.
that it pointed to him,
Okay.
but it was not conclusive.
But it's not. Okay.
So I think going back to the fact that these victims are all prostitutes.
Well, no, they not all.
Not all. Three
were
of them.
known to be, because 2 are unknown. They
Two of them are unknown.
unidentified.
Okay, so, 3 were bona fide hoes. They were bona fide hoes, right?
Sure.
So I think from my knowledge of what a serial killer is and how they think, they obviously try and fill gaps and holes in their lives. So automatically this is some oak with mommy issues.
Well, also, prostitutes are transients, which means not a lot of people don't miss them necessarily all the time. I'm not
That's
saying
why they're
this
often
is
victims.
That's why they're often victims of
this sort
serial
of crime. Yeah.
because
And they're also sitting ducks on a corner at 4
Sure,
in the
yes.
afternoon, in the
Exactly.
evening, in the
Yeah.
morning. So
exactly, we need safe work environments for sex workers, please.
Absolutely, we do.
We are passionate about this. Okay, let's carry
We
on.
stand. We stand sex workers.
they must sanitize.
Okay, final theory, my favorite of the lot. This is the one I think is the truth. Okay. The doctor. The final theory is the doctor. This theory was dismissed by the Namibian police early on. However, it remains extremely suspicious. Early on, it was said that the dismemberment of the bodies was so precise, it was considered of a professional nature, meaning the butcher could be just that, a butcher or a vet or a doctor. In 2007, a local doctor was arrested for drunk driving. While the man was in holding, he confessed to being the B1 butcher. However, the police released the man and stated the
I
police
can't with this Namibian police.
I love it. I'm sorry. I look over into the, and of course he's just shaking it. She's just like me.
Do they actually want to
I mean,
catch
they-
this killer?
That there must be a reason.
Why did they release
Why
him?
would they release him?
I mean, inside job? I don't know. I don't know. Conspiracy.
Because that really points to two things. It's either something was disclosed to the police that could not be made public knowledge. A private issue like a mental illness or something that would have made him confess that was, not a true confession, and then paired with an alibi for the killings in some way, shape or form. I can understand that, and why the public wouldn't know that, because it's confidential information.
Yeah.
Or, like you say, an inside job, which starts venturing into very tricky territory for theories.
Also, I think they may have discounted his confession because he was wasted. And he was confessing.
So he was
while
actually drunk when he made the confession.
He was drunk when he made the confession. But I'm also like...
But they must have asked him again the next
Surely.
morning. They surely
I don't know.
didn't just be like,
Serial killers don't
you're
get
talking
drunk.
nonsense.
What?
Serial killers don't get drunk. Active serial killers don't get drunk. They are in full control. They are with it always.
Really?
They are.
Is
Are you
that
being
a-
sarcastic? I can't-
Yeah, where's the study?
yeah. Show me.
Serial killers do not get drunk on the job.
Do you know from
Very
personal
professional.
Listen, when you're busy carving up somebody and planning, these are plans. I'm saying these are plans. Serial killers have plans.
Yeah.
It's preparation
alcohol would
meets
assist me with those
opportunity.
kinds of plans.
But they don't need to They don't need Dutch courage to kill someone. They don't need that.
I
they
don't
aren't.
know about that.
They are not.
I don't
they
think
are
that's
not
true at
regular.
all.
They're not jawling. Serial killers are when they're in the process.
Jawling and using substance, because it doesn't have to be alcohol either.
Well, this man was drunk, blind drunk.
Okay, sure, but I'm saying
unless he
any sort of
wanted to get
substance.
caught, which is also something some serial killers do.
A lot of serial
But when
killers
they're
want
in
to
the
get
process of serial killing, they don't want to get caught in that moment. If they're not active, they're not drunk and driving. They're busy. They're very chilled, controlled people.
I don't know if the guy knows what a serial killer is.
I don't know about that. I think that there's a lot of stereotypes about serial killers that are sort of played up in like movies and TV shows.
You're not going to go on a killing tirade and create a puzzle and then just have one drunken night and say, look, this is me. I did it. That's why when someone confesses to a police and say, I did it, and they can close a case and go, look, we solved it, but they didn't. It's because he definitely wasn't the killer.
I'm going to end this here because...
We'll pick this up again in the serial killers episode.
Yeah, you guys can argue about it. Cool, guys. So that's the B1 Butcher, never caught. Super sad. He's a bastard.
Indeed,
he's a bastard. And...
I blame the police. I blame the Namibian police for this.
Shame. I feel sorry for them. Gender-based violence is a profound and widespread problem in South Africa. If you are a victim or know someone who is and needs support, we have included some resources that can help in this episode's description. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wretched. If you had a good time and would like to help us make more of these shows, find us on Patreon and get involved in that bonus content for as little as $5 a month. If you have a story you would like us to take a look at, please email us at wretchedpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook so you never miss an episode. Wretched is produced by Kosi Kamalu, co-produced and hosted by me, Michelle Nell, co-hosted by Levi Brown and Luke Housden. Recorded and mixed by Soundcast Studios. Our music is by Purple Planet. See you next time.